Hey kids, Eric the Car Guy here. I just finished cleaning up the headlights on my Subaru, and I've also been asked in the past about what about adjusting headlights. So I figured, well, they're all nice and clean now. I might as well get them adjusted to where they're supposed to be, and why not make a video to show you basically the process of how to do this. Now there are two types of headlights. The older style headlights actually have little bumps that are on the front of the headlight itself. But if your headlight's completely smooth, like they are with this here Subaru, they usually have like little levels that you can use to get them into the proper position. But before, hang on a minute, back in the day, we used to use kits like this. And these are affectionately known as hoppies. And these are basically headlight devices, aiming devices that you put onto the headlights themselves. And those little bumps on the headlight go with these guys here. And there's little numbers that are there next to those, on those headlights that like says H2 and V something else, so horizontal and vertical. And that's where you set this to so that when it's on the front of the headlight, it's all level. And then when you're done with that, you actually first make sure the car is level, and then you go through the trouble of doing this. And should I get one of those older vehicles in, I'll actually do a video showing how this thing works. But most modern vehicles don't have stuff like this anymore. And in fact, they have a very different setup. So let's go over to the Subaru and see what we got.
What I was talking about with these is these have a completely smooth front surface. So there's no little bumps that stick out. There would be 3 or 4 bumps, little nipples that stick out from the front of this that you would attach that other setup to. But these that are smooth like this usually have levels. And on that level, you'll see that I am not zeroed up where it should be. It's actually all the way down as far as it can go. Now, I can't stress enough how important it is when you're using these levels to make sure that the stinking car is level. I know that my shop floor is level, so I'm fairly confident in setting what I'm setting. But if you're on any kind of grade or incline, of course your level's not going to be right. So make sure you're on a level surface when you do this. It's fairly simple. There's a vertical and a horizontal adjustment. And on the Subaru, I'm not sure which is which here, but once we start adjusting, we'll be able to see it. I've got an adjuster there, and I've got one further down in here that is also an adjustment. So I'll be turning this screw and this screw. One, like I said, is vertical and one is horizontal. And just to make things easier, I'm going to drive it over against the wall so I can get an idea what the headlights look like when they're on. All right, this is what I've got now as far as where the pattern is. It seems a little bit low to me, and it's hard to see at night, but it was hard to see before because, well, let's face it, the headlights were fogged up pretty good. But let's do an adjustment and see if we can make it a little better. The danger here is, and you're going to run into this especially in rusty areas like where I'm at. And on here it says left, right. So this little thing here is that L and that R, and it's already on 0. We're going to leave this one alone. So that is the side to side. It's already marked. And that red line there is already lined up with the 0 pretty much. So we're just going to leave that guy alone. We're not going to do anything there. So we'll focus on this guy, try and get this level to come up level and get that into 0. And by the way, the adjuster is an 8mm screw head down in here. This is 8mm. I got my 1/4-inch ratchet, and I'm just gonna turn it slowly. It's coming in. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there it is. All right, that's come in quite a bit. That to me looks level, unlike it did before. Let's check that pattern again. We went up significantly. I haven't touched the other side yet, but that's up significantly from where it was. High beams. Let's do the other side. Now this one actually looks a little different. It doesn't have that same setup, but it does have sort of a little L and R and a line thing there. See how it's got that L and R and that 0 in the center? And it looks like it's pretty much centered up, so we're going to leave that alone. So again, I will get onto this screw way back here and just start adjusting until my bubble comes in. I'm just going to keep cranking until that guy comes into that 0 range. Looks like there it is. So there we go, just move the bubble till it got to 0. That's all I did. 8mm screw in the back. Here's the in and out here. You would turn this until that lines up where it's supposed to be. And then this screw right here is the one I just adjusted for the vertical adjustment. Let's check the pattern again. Yeah, that looks way better. See a lot better at night instead of looking at the ground, not really seeing anything. Cool. Let's wrap this up.
All right, it's not that difficult to aim your headlights with these newer systems that basically tell you where to put them. Now there is one thing to note. If it's been in a front end collision, what the headlight mounts to may not be straight. So you may be able to get it level, or if you're not able to get it level, it might be that the substructure that the headlight is fastened to is bent and there's no way you can get it to adjust properly. Same thing goes for the side to side. If you've got it centered like I had it here and it still seems off to one side or the other, then once again it could be the substructure that it's fastened to that's the problem. So keep that in the back of your brains while you're having to deal with this kind of stuff. But other than that, if you have one of the older systems, you can just do it on the wall like this. You can pull it up to a wall, make sure level surface. Can't stress enough, level, level, level when you do this. And then try to aim them that way. In fact, me, I'm kind of tall. So what I've done in the past is I've just stood in front of the headlight and pretty much aimed them at my knees, and that seemed to be about right. But that's gonna vary depending upon your height. But it's not all that difficult. But when the screws get rusty, that's when it can be a challenge. It might not want to adjust no matter what you do. So you might run into that. But for these newer ones, just check the levels, you're good to go. For the older ones that have the bumps on the headlights, just kind of wing it. Or, you know, I don't really see you going out and buying one of those fancy headlight kits, but should want to come in, I'll make a video on that. But until then, enjoy this one. Anyway, I am Eric the Car Guy. You can always find me at EricTheCarGuy.com, where I suggest you go to ask your automotive questions. Type in a couple of keywords into the search function, or if you have check engine light codes, throw those in there, and you'll get an answer. We'll spit it out, regurgitate it. And if you can't find an answer there, head over to the forum. We'd be happy to help you. Google+, Facebook, Twitter, all those places you can also find Eric the Car Guy, all one word. I close around here with be safe, have fun, and of course, stay dirty. Catch you next time.